Now, 2020 has been a crazy year for many of us. Some have found more balance and time for themselves or their families, but for others, it was the worst year ever in terms of balance. Going from one meeting to the next, no pauses, a crazy amount of things to deliver, and then a limited social life to compensate for the stress and no gossip or fun with the colleagues at the coffee machine. And I'm sure that you think, I don't want that for 2021. Everyone wants to be fulfilled at work and at home. We all want that great work-life balance. But do you sometimes have the feeling that you should sacrifice one for the other? In today's episode, I wanted to talk about the biggest mistake that is killing your work-life balance and how you can avoid it and really have this great work and this great personal life. I'm Muriel, CEO, mom, and educator. I used to work really hard and sacrificed important things to me until I lost my motivation. Fast forward, past many failed attempts and lessons learned, and I found a way to reach great results while working less. Today, I'm obsessed with helping other leaders build meaningful lives. So each week, I'll be sharing inspiration to change your life and organization. This is Rebel Leader with a Heart. And first, I wanted to talk a little bit about Tatiana, my sister. She works with me now, but in the past, she had this feeling that she had to choose between having a great career or being there for her family. So she had a really nice job where she climbed the ladder. And over time, she had more and more responsibilities. And she really enjoyed having an impact and improving things. And that's how she grew the ladder. But at some point, it became all too much. Too much stress, too much things to do, too much pressure, too many emails, too many meetings. And she had the feeling, or not only the feeling, she wasn't there for her family anymore. Not as much as she wished she could be there. And so she decided, okay, I'm going to change jobs and take fewer responsibilities. I want a nice job with fixed hours and nice colleagues. But then many things didn't work well. She got frustrated because she wanted to improve these things, but she didn't have the responsibility or the power to do it. And her colleagues told her, just let it go. We have a nice salary and nice hours, so why bother? But she got more and more bored, and she didn't feel well at work anymore. Yes, her family time was great, but simply accepting boring tasks and things that don't work for the customers was eating her inside. And so she started to feel more and more empty. And so many leaders make that same mistake, thinking that the choice they have to make is choosing between their career or their private life. But it isn't all or nothing, or choosing one over the other. In fact, I believe that having a great personal life and a great career will make you a better person, a more successful one, and definitely a happy person. But how can you achieve that? Well, it's by making other choices than choosing between your career or your personal life. And you will still have to make choices. And you will have to make choices every day. Because if you simply do everything that is asked from you, you will probably never have this great work-life balance. But probably, just like me, you learn to do that from a very young age in school and in your career. Doing everything that is requested is probably deeply ingrained in you. And so, saying no to someone, or disappointing a colleague, or letting go of less important things instead of controlling them will probably make you feel very uncomfortable. you feel guilt, you feel tensions in your body, you feel as a failure, or you feel restless or distracted even. And to escape that feeling, it will be easier for you to simply continue doing everything that's on your to-do list. So how can you achieve this work-life balance? Well, first, look at the ideal life that you'd like to have. The life that you wouldn't want to retire from. How does this life look like for you? Just write it down, because if you don't know what you want from your life and from your career, how will you achieve it? And in the previous episode 36, I help you to really think about that and build that life that you would really like to have. Simply go to rebelleaderwithaheart.com/36 and you will find a template to do that. So first, look at the ideal life that you'd like to have. Then, make a list of all the things that give you energy and all the things that cost you energy at work and at home. Because when we talk about work-life balance, we often assume that everything that we do at work costs us energy and everything we do at home gives us energy. But you know it's not the case. Just look at the things at home that give you energy and the things at home that cost you energy, and do the same with the things at work. And then for the things that cost you energy, start saying no, despite the guilt you feel, or ignore them, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Or collaborate with a colleague for these things, or delegate these things. And so, of all the things that cost you energy, try to look at all these things that you could say no to, ignore, or collaborate for, or delegate. And that is how you will have a great work-life balance. So the choice that you have to make is not between having a career or a personal life. It's between saying yes to the things that give you energy and try to eliminate as much things that cost you energy as possible. By saying no, by automating these, by collaborating or delegating these things. And so that is how you'll get there. And you know what? People that say yes to everything, they are not respected as much as people that say no to many things. And another thing, and I think I've said it a couple of times already in this podcast, but very successful people, they say no to almost everything. And they often have a great balance with their private life and their career. So how can you then say no? How can you ignore? How can you collaborate even if it doesn't work in the beginning and you will have to try again and again until you're happy with the results? Well, how can you do that? Well, it's by learning to recognize what is happening inside of you. And instead of escaping those sensations, learn to accept them so that you can make the choices that will lead to the life you want with a great career and a great personal life. So say no to people even if it makes you feel guilty. Ignore things even if it means that you will disappoint someone. And the more you will practice this, the easier it will become, the most successful you will become, and the better work-life balance you will have. So don't make the choice between having a career or having a life, but make the choice between what gives you energy and what costs you energy, and try to eliminate as much things that cost you energy. But it all starts by believing that it will work, and then by freeing yourself from these sensations. And what I mean by freeing yourself from these sensations and these conditioned behavior is first being aware of those, being aware that you're not saying no because you feel guilty or because you feel tensions in your body that you want to escape. So the first step is to be aware of what is happening inside of you. The second step is to simply accept that those sensations are there. It doesn't mean that you agree with those, because of course they will make you feel bad and uncomfortable. But by accepting these sensations and then moving forward, even despite your fears or despite this uncomfortable sensation, that will lead to better results for you and to a greater work-life balance. So don't try to escape these sensations, but try to stay with them, because you will survive, you will continue to live, even if you will feel guilty, even if you feel tensions in your body or a knot in your throat or something in your stomach. It will be okay. Simply accept this and still say no, ignore, or collaborate, or simply ignore the thing so that you can have this better work-life balance. Well, this was the end of this episode. I'm really curious if you are going to implement this, because your life in 2021 is simply the sum of the actions that you will take. And so, are you going to start freeing yourself from your conditioned behavior? And instead of simply doing everything that is requested from you, are you going to start saying no and choosing for that work-life balance? Now, can I ask for a favor? Would it be okay for you to take just 1 minute to stop this podcast, to go then on the platform and subscribe to this show and leave me a review? You can do that on Apple Podcast. Just leave me a review. It would mean a lot to me, and I would be really grateful if you would take just 1 minute of your time to do that for me. It would mean a lot, and it would help other leaders discover this podcast. Thank you. Yeah, you finished another episode of Rebel Leader with a Heart. If you want more, go to rebelleaderwithaheart.com for show notes and past episodes. If you love the show, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. The more, the merrier. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great week, you Rebel Leader with a Heart.